What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today, BCH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to the Dragon Riders, of course, and the House of the Dragon. Here we are at about $441.80 with roughly 10 hours left in the day. It is the 20th of April. Happy 420 for everybody out there. Here we are, moving up a little bit on the day after this weekend's calamitous aftermath. It's really not that big of a deal to the downside here. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, zooming in and getting started right away here. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we had a nice little uptrend here that has been broken out of to the downside. We look at this from a relative low to a relative high. You can see that we found support directly at the golden ratio. What we're looking to do now, I mean, this is nice what we're doing now. What we're looking to do now is find support at the 0.5, move up above the 382. We want to get above the 382. That's also nice, but the ultimate test really is the 236. Once we get above 451, once we get above there, you guys, we should be clear to move up to prices that are higher than this high, and thus going to that 480, 490 kind of level there. And that'll be the next kind of stopping point, perhaps. I mean, maybe we just fly through it and we go all the way up, through $500, but we'll see. Time will tell. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame with our handy dandy indicators, the RSI has done something that's very normal for it to do, which is formed a downtrend, broke out of the downtrend by moving sideways, and now it's forming an uptrend right here, right? In that sidewaysness right here, in this sideways kind of period, we moved lower, but we were very near the low from a percentage standpoint. So moved lower. Now we're starting an uptrend, not just in the RSI, but in the price. You can kind of see it. Maybe it's presumptuous to say that here, but you can kind of see it. Stochastics are looking bullish, and the MACD still in a bearish posture overall, but you've got potential here. You've got potential, that's for sure. 4 hour time frame, looking at the RSI bouncing off the oversold zone while getting overbought is nice, good, volatile, but still good to the bullish effect. Bullish for multiple reasons. Again, you got overbought twice technically. You didn't get oversold. You got very close, but you didn't get oversold. It's technical analysis. Let's be technical. And then here, you're also holding these higher lows. You kind of went below this line a little bit, but you're basically holding this higher low trajectory. It looks good enough in my opinion. So move up here. Don't spend too much time below the 50. Don't reject the 50. We don't want to touch. We do not want to come back down and test this line. We just want to come back up. If anything, get a lower high, which wouldn't be fun, but whatever. That's okay. It's better than rejecting the 50, or get into the overbought zone and get a stronger reading, stronger than anything that we've seen in quite some time. I mean, get something that's like this from back in the middle of February, from like 2 months ago. Do that. Looking at the stochastics are bullish. This definitely suggests that there's more upside to go. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash, Green Dragon Riders, get your bull horns on. We're about to go flying through the sky with some bull horns. Very hornish behavior here. And then looking at the MACD, I like the way that it's postured as well. We've got this kind of higher low trend with these higher high trends coming in. It's not perfect, but you can see what I'm going for, right? We're also right here at the 0 level, perfect area to find support. Oftentimes enough, we find significance at these levels, whether it's as resistance or support. So looking for that here, that would definitely promote the idea that not only do we go back above this high, but that we're working our way back up to these highs. Could certainly see that happen here. Daily time frame, looking at this. The daily MACD is bearish, but there's bullish momentum here. We need to build the bullish momentum. We don't want to decay. We don't want to start building bearish momentum. So moving up's nice. We need to keep moving up, though, is what that's saying. Stochastics are right at an area where you'd expect them to bounce. This is actually where we bounced the last couple of times that we came from the overbought zone down. It's exactly where we are now. The last couple times we were here, we didn't bounce too much, but it was enough to take us to the upper limits of the range we had established. So get back to these upper limits. You'll at least give us a fighting chance to move back to these areas here. And then the RSI is neutral. It's not really going to be helpful at all for once. Bouncing off the 40. I mean, it looks better than it has in a while, right? When you were in these areas here, you came down and you got oversold. When you're in these areas here, you came down and you got oversold. When you were in these areas here, you came down and you didn't get oversold. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more bullish, and we have higher lows, going throughout all this, but it's still kind of neutral. It's not really giving us much. So overall, bullish on Bitcoin Cash. Overall, expecting higher prices. Absolutely, we are. If we take this from a high to a low here, disregarding the double bottom fake out lows here, running with this idea, we shouldn't just be moving to this area, the 236, this point of resistance. We shouldn't just be moving here. We should be breaking through and going to the next area, which technically would be the 382. But looking at this from a price perspective, I would more assume that it's this here, which is $540, something in this area here, or perhaps the golden ratio. Bitcoin Cash is very attracted to its 0.5 area. Typically, you don't see it reject right at it. Typically, it does go a little bit through. So this kind of zone is very, very attractive to Bitcoin Cash. 570, 540, anything and everything in there. That's where my head's at. We've, gotten excited for that. Yesterday, we were a little bit timid just because of this reversal candle, but I think we've seen enough downside, and it happened over the weekend. That gives me a little bit more reason to be excited that we'll move up. That and everybody else seems to be bearish, so that definitely works. Not necessarily bearish on Bitcoin Cash. What else is new there? But more just like on the space as a whole. People seem panicky, a little bit panicky, and that's a good time to buy normally. I still believe that Bitcoin will see lower lows inevitably. I don't know what that means for Bitcoin Cash. We look at Bitcoin Cash for what it's worth, and if anybody thinks Bitcoin Cash is in a bear market, I think that's a bit presumptuous to make. We still have higher lows on a macro scale. We have higher lows dating back to the beginning of the bull market. We don't have higher highs, to be fair. I mean, on a macro scale, we're lower high than this, but we actually have seen higher highs than this. It depends on what we do here. If we move up and we get a lower high, and then that lower high gets a subsequent lower low, maybe we're in a bear market, but even still, we're kind of just in this consolidation range. We're in a crab market, as it's known. And while Bitcoin itself has been in a bear market, that is a rather impressive feat for any coin that has a lower market cap than Bitcoin. It's a very, very impressive feat. I mean, this is what Bitcoin's bear market's been since October. Bitcoin Cash since October has done this. It's moved up and moved down. It's really not that far from where it was. So it's interesting, the thought that I'm having here. It's interesting to think, where will Bitcoin Cash be? Will it be here? And then Bitcoin will be roughly in this area, and then it moves down? Well, maybe we do see a lower low. Will Bitcoin Cash be up here? Maybe we don't see a lower low. Maybe we see a higher high and a higher low. We're just still consolidating this area when Bitcoin dumps. Will Bitcoin Cash erupt? And then on this low, on this move down for the finality of the bear market, will Bitcoin Cash correct back down here or back down here, like somewhere else? The ones that erupt while Bitcoin's in a bear market, they do sell off plenty, but you're not going to be getting lower lows with that. It's interesting, the dynamics here that are at play. And 2 out of the 3 dynamics I painted resulted in higher lows, not lower lows. So not that makes it more statistically probable to do that, but I just don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. We have not reacted down here the way that I thought we'd react at all. And that's not to a positive effect, that's to a negative effect. So it is possible that we could, it's more possible now that it's been really over the past couple months that we could see prices below $400. My issue with that, and why I'd really not like to see that here, but before I get into that, let me just say first and foremost, I don't think it means death and destruction. We've got this larger consolidation range. If we break out of this one, we can go down and find support down here. Okay, big deal, whatever. The reason why it's a big deal, though, the reason why is because if we're looking at this from the perspective of a macro trend line dating back to our all-time high and the prior cycle's high. I say the prior cycle because this cycle, I don't know, it's not established that we have a high yet. Like this, I mean, maybe that was the high of the bull market. That's a pretty short bull market, but maybe. And then we're in a crab market, and Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin might not be the one that gets the super cycle. It might be Bitcoin Cash at this rate. But the reason why we don't want to break below $400 is we don't want to break back below this trend line. The promises that were foretold in the chart were not of this nature. They were of this nature. So let's see if we can fulfill that prophecy. And going forward, we'll see if there's any excitement. But for now, curb your enthusiasm. The thought is we go somewhere around 540, maybe 580, 590, something like that. Maybe a little bit higher. We'll see. First, we got to get to 485, and then we'll go from there. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.